We'll get started here since it's starting to drizzle a little bit. I'd like to introduce Chief Operating Officer Craig Shuey.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome. It's my solemn honor to lead us today in today's ceremony. I want to thank you for joining us today here in person or at any of the offices and field facilities in which you're watching this today. The reason we're here is to take a moment to pause and reflect upon the members of our family who have lost their lives to work area accidents, crashes, and even crimes. It is a fact of our business that most of the men and women who dedicate their lives to operating the Turnpike will do so within inches of live traffic. Over the course of our 76 years, this reality has too often come with tragedy. The markers you see around us, the plaque behind us, represent those who have lost their lives in the line of duty. We should never forget that those are more than names. They represent families who've lost loved ones and faced tragedy and been torn apart by grief. They represent sheds and interchanges and offices and teams which have had to pull together and come back to work after a tragedy and continue to do the work that they've done every day. They represent something else. They also represent moments, seconds, and flashes of time when some act, innocent or otherwise, replaces life with death. As we gather here today to reflect, let's also think about the moments in our lives when things can go wrong. Let's put the phone down. Let's put both hands on the wheel. Let's focus at the task of driving. In our work zones, in our toll zones, in PennDOT's work zones, in our construction zones, in our service plazas, and in our parking lots, in township work zones, in utility work zones, wherever people are doing work along the road, let's give them a chance to go home every day. Whenever people are doing their jobs next to the roadway, give them your undivided attention. They deserve nothing less. Because moments are critical, and they can determine a lifetime, or they can also end one. So I thank you for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Mark for some remarks and a moment of silence. Thank you.
Craig. As Craig said, it's tragedy that brings us together today, but it's also an abiding sense of respect for our lost colleagues. We honor them here today. You see their numbers noted by the safety cones and hard hats right back behind you. You can also see that they're more than just hard hats by the names that are placed on those hard hats. They were people. We have them on the plaques. We also have them on the plaque here by Craig. This week is a week of respect and remembrance. It's also a week that we set aside to bring fuller awareness and responsibility for the need for work zone safety. Now, when we say work zone safety, we're really referring to all of our employees that work out in the road. Our maintenance crews obviously come to mind. We can't forget our toll collectors. We can't forget those who are out for in-lane maintenance. We clearly can't forget our facilities employees, our folks who are in FEMO, as well as our construction inspectors who put themselves in danger each and every day as part of their job. The memorial behind me reflects the names of those that we've lost, and they come from various departments here at the Turnpike. And you know, behind every single one of those names, behind those cones, stands an army of people. Fathers, sons, mothers, daughters, grandparents. It's the dominoes that fall and the pieces that are left to be picked up by those people after those horrific days. Good news is workplace safety is increasing. Our numbers are getting better. But I got to tell you, those things aren't just happening by chance. They're happening because we're focusing on them. And because we as a community and as an organization are committed to them. And we encourage the driving public to commit to safety as well. So I want you to think for a second. Think back to the car that you had when you when you took your driver's test? For me, it was a early 1980s Reliant K station wagon. Okay. In that car, when you did 80 miles an hour, if my dad's listening, not that I ever did, but if you did 80 miles an hour in that car, you knew it because of the vibration that you felt. Today, I want you to think about the car that you drive today, all the cars that we see in the parking lot out there. You think of those cars, 50 feels like 80. 60 feels a little bit like 90. So as you all, representatives of the Turnpike, when you're on our roadway or on any roadway, please be conscious about your safety, about the safety of others. Please be conscious about your speed. With all the distractions that we have, it's very easy. It's very easy to get distracted and that pedal to get a little heavier. So please be cognizant in everything that you do. We also notified this weekend that we lost somebody from the Turnpike family. His name was Neil Wood. Got notification that Neil died this past weekend. Any of you that know a little bit of Turnpike lore and a little bit of Turnpike history knows that Neil invented what? The snap. The snap stands for what? Sonic Nap Avoidance Pattern. Neil attended our 75th anniversary with us just a couple short years ago. In Neil's words, he said something to me that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. He said, I slept a lot better knowing of all the lives that we must have saved because of putting that invention in place. And if you think about what he was dealing with, what Neil was dealing with, what he was seeing was all these runoff accidents. Seeing all these cars that went off the roadway. Instead of saying, we can't fix that's a problem that we don't have a solution for, Neil found the solution. So I ask you to think about that in your own daily work. As Craig pointed out today, we've got people who are working mere inches from live traffic, and in that maintenance pattern with nothing less than a cone in between them. I'm hoping that 10, 15, 20 years from now, somebody is going to say, the next Neil Wood is right around the corner. The next inventor is right there that's going to fix that problem to get us and get our employees out of harm's way. So when you leave here today, think about what that next great Neil Wood invention is going to be. Now, as we start this week, we just remind you to do a couple things. One, please wear orange. You can do that in any facet that you'd like. Go orange, eat oranges, whatever it takes. We just ask you to please keep work zone safety top of mind and all year long. So with that, I think we're about ready. I'd like to welcome and say hello to all of our colleagues in the field today who are tuning in. At this moment, I'm looking out at the many faces here at the central office building. I know that those are joining us from the ERO and the WRO as well. Now, I got to tell you to our colleagues in the field, some said because it's raining we should go inside, but for us to get a little bit of taste of what you deal with every single day, we're out here in the rain with you. Granted, it's still 70 degrees, but just take that as what it's worth. We're at least standing out in the rain with you, at least today. Many of us here have known someone who's been lost, but we all know that these tragedies hit all of you in the field and your families the hardest. We're reminded of what happened out in District 2 last year and reminded of the losses that we've had in District 4 just a few short years ago. Our hearts are with you, District 2. Our hearts are with you, District 4. We are committed to supporting you and the work that you do. We are committed to putting safety first and reminding everyone we know to do the same for all of your sake. At this time, as the first official act for Work Zone Safety Week, we ask that we just take a quiet moment to honor and reflect on those whose lives have been lost. We thank you for being part of this remembrance. Please take care, and above all else, be safe. Thank you.